Hey, what's up? In this lecture, we're going to learn about the most important data type, well, arguably, the list. When you're using Python, you're going to use the list a lot. So the first question you might ask is, what can I put in a list? Well, you can see there are many types of lists. First, you can store the numbers and make a number list, such as 1, 3.9, and 101. These are all numbers. You can also store some strings in the list, like this: John, Mike, and Tony. What you can also do is you can also store a mixed list. That is, you store different data types into the single list. So you can see in this mixed list, well, we have numbers as well as strings. And you don't have to follow a specific order, such as one number, one string. You can also do just random combination of them. So you can see I have a number 2 and 2 strings. So you don't have to follow any order. The list is pretty flexible, but a mixed list is not usually useful. Moving on, you can create more complicated lists, such as, yes, a list of lists. For example, we can put all these 3 lists here. We can store them into one single list. So your list will be like this. Alright? One thing you should notice is here, for this wall list, the first element is 1 or 3.9. Actually, it's the list, the whole list. So this is the first element in the wall list. And this, the second list, is the second element in this wall list. Because you see, this is a list of lists. And what you can do is you can nest as many layers as you want. So you can create a list of list of list of lists. It just goes on forever, as deep as you want. And in the essence, you just need to remember you can create a list of everything. You can put dictionaries into a list. You can put a set into a list. You can put lists into lists. So basically anything you want. So now you know what you can put in a list. The next question will be, what can you do with the list? Well, the most common operation to a list is list comprehension. This is basically an easier way and also a more straightforward way of looping through the elements in a list. So when you are using a list comprehension, you basically are processing the list items one by one, and you will store the result into a new list, and the list comprehension will return the new list as the result. The syntax is as follows. So item is the thing that represents each item in this list. So you can see here, you have 4 items in list. This means for each item in the list, and here, this is the part where you process the item and return the result to store in the new list. So the result of this process will be stored in this new list. You can also add a condition into this list comprehension. That will be the second example here. So you can see here, I have an additional if condition. That means the process will only be executed if this condition is satisfied. So if this condition is true, we process it and store the result into a new list. If this is false, we will just skip that item. Understand? Let's see some examples. So first, I have an example here. In this example, we're going to say hello to a group of people. So the first step will be create a name list of the people that we want to say hello to. Let's just copy the name list here. All right, and we will name this list the names. Easy, right? So now we will have a list named names, which had 3 names in it. So the second step, we will be saying hello to each of them. So this is where list comprehension kicks in. So remember, referring to the syntax here, the first part is how to process the item. So here we will say hello and plus the name, which is the item here. See? And for item in list, so item in our list is called names, and close this function. So this is our list comprehension. Let's see the result. And you can see exactly like what we want. Hello John, hello Mac, and hello Tony. All done in just one line of code with list comprehension. So that's how you use list comprehension without an if condition. In this second example here, we're going to use the if condition. So let's see how this works. In this example, we are supposed to find all the even numbers within 100. So I have the steps separated here. The first step will be to store the number 1 to 100 into a list. So that will be a number list. And in the second step, we'll keep only the even numbers. All right, so let's process the first way. In this first step, we're going to create a list named numbers, right? And we're going to put 1, 2, 3 all the way to 100 here. Well, you can type them one by one and just keep typing and all the way to 100. But there's an easier way of doing this. If you don't know, here is the good chance to learn the range function of Python. So what a range does is it generates a counter from 1 to 100. And with a list command, we're going to convert it into a list. So here we should have a list from 0 to 99. Well, yeah, almost the same. If you have to, you can have it start with 1 and stops at 111. So we have 1 to 100. So we have the numbers here. The second step will be to keep only the even numbers. This is the key here. So to do this, we need a list comprehension with an if condition. So if this number is an even number, we will keep it in our new list. Otherwise, just skip it. So have a thought. What should you do? What makes it an even number? That's right. An even number can be divided by 2. That means the item will be divided by 2. So I'm gonna just copy this condition. Okay, and we're going to modify it one by one. So the condition will be item divided by 2 equals 0. That makes an even number. If it's even, it should be divided by 2. If it's not, it cannot be divided by 2. Okay? And here, we also need to replace the name of the list with numbers. For the process part, actually we don't need to process the item. So as long as it is an even number, judging by this condition here, we'll just store it in the result. So item. And let's run this. And you have a list of even numbers all the way to 100. So that's all about how to use a list and how to use list comprehension. I hope you have learned a lot in this lecture. I will see you in the next lecture. Bye.